Welcome back to the Band Guide, where we use Garageband to create professional sounding music. I'm your band guy, Colin, and today I want to share with you my favorite trick for adding energy into a mix and how you can do it inside Garageband. In this video, I'm going to walk through what exactly this trick is, how I like to approach it, so if you're new to this, you can just copy my approach to get started, and how you can do it inside Garageband completely free without any new gear. Let's dive in. Okay, so we're inside Garageband now, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to play some of this song with this trick on, but you can't see it on screen, and then I'm going to take it away. I want you to notice how there's a really obvious shift in how much energy there is in the chorus of the song. Let's go ahead and check it out. Kind of crazy, right? Were you able to figure out what it was? Probably, right? So it's a tambourine. This isn't reinventing any wheel, right? This is a pretty traditional standard thing, but used right, it's amazing what it can do to a song. As soon as you mute it in the context of this mix, and you just lose so much. Now, what a tambourine is doing, at least in this instance, is it's adding a lot of the rhythmic energy, so the speed, but then it also is existing in a frequency range that there's not necessarily a lot of things happening at that speed. It's just adding energy in that frequency range as well. Really, really cool and really, really simple. So you can see how this is really simple, but effective. And when it comes to approaching it in the context of the mix, typically I would record more or less the entire song. That way I have an idea of what energy I'm looking for at different points in the song and how I can add energy with percussion. And this isn't limited to just tambourines. I'm going to go to another example in just a minute that isn't just a tambourine that adds a lot of energy in a more appropriate way for that song. But tambourines are a great go-to. So we're going to start with that as the example. So as we get towards the end of recording a song, I will start thinking about where I want to use percussion to fill in the gaps, to add energy at a certain level. How much energy do I want in this part of the song? How much energy do I want in this part of the song? And then I'll kind of tailor my percussion to that to help increase the energy at those different points in the song. So, for example, this chorus obviously has kind of this fast tambourine going in it. But then as we move out of this chorus into the post-chorus, I want to slow the energy down a little bit, but I still want it to be a little bit higher. So as we get to this part here, so now we have a different tambourine track that's following the snare. And so what I'm doing here is I'm augmenting something else that's adding energy to this track, the snare, with a tambourine sound that has a little bit of those special frequencies up in that higher range that just add energy to this mix at that point. So again, just even in this post-chorus, listen to it with and without the tambourine in. You literally might not notice it, but it sure is effective, right? It's sure adding a lot in that moment in that song. And I like to have these split on separate tracks because especially with shorter hits, I often like to add kind of a long reverb tail to fill in the space there. So on this track, you can see on this one that's playing with the snares here, I have both reverb here, but I also have a reverb right on it that's mixed pretty high. So without that, we lose. That just helps it kind of exist a little bit more, even though it's not hitting regularly. But then on the faster percussion tracks, the faster shakers or tambourines, whatever I'm using, I typically don't have nearly as much reverb, if any reverb, because I don't want to get it really cloudy. Reverb adds length to each individual hit, and so when things are happening really fast, it can start to cloud pretty quickly. So I don't like to do much or any reverb. You can say I have a little bit of reverb on here, but not much. So this tambourine is a lot drier, and then as it goes towards this other tambourine. So across the context of the song, now what I've done is, we have this intro that doesn't have any percussion, it's just vocals. tambourine comes in, adds a lot of energy. Again, take that out. Really awesome. And then we go to a verse here, and it follows the snare. Again, take that out. And then I more or less just kind of follow this. If I want it to drop back in energy, I can even drop back further. So we get to this pre-chorus here. No percussion, just kind of scales back. We get to the bridge, for example, too, over here. There's no specific percussion. We still have some digital stuff going on there, but there's no actual like high energy percussion. So it's really drop back in energy. And then we get back to this chorus. It's really fast. Now, sometimes what I'll do is I'll leave percussion out in the early parts of the song so that the song can continue to build. So by the time we get to that last chorus, that tambourine comes in and it really adds a lot of energy. Or in the first one, I might do eighth notes. So as opposed to 16th notes. Play with it and try to find the right energy for your song at different parts. Let's jump over to one other quick example and I'll show you a different approach for a different kind of song. And then I'll show you how you can do this inside GarageBand really easily without any new gear. Okay, so we're in another song now, and on this song, I ended up using a shaker as kind of the main energy source, if you will, because it just kind of fit the tone of the song better. So check it out here. As long as I can see, I take it out. And then actually bring in a tambourine to accent the snare. See, and I'm not even accenting every snare, so it gives me the ability to help accent the things I want to accent. You can go throughout your song and kind of think through it in these terms and think through, how do I want this to build? So for example, in this song, it comes in early on, we have an intro, and then it comes in early on, the shaker does. And then when I get to this first chorus, actually, it is happening in the verse, but then it drops out when we get to the first chorus because we want the energy to drop way back down. So it's a super powerful tool to like push and pull the song forward and backwards. Okay, how do you do this in GarageBand completely free? Well, you probably know GarageBand has a crazy amount of loops. So if we go up to our loop bar up here, you can also open this by hitting O on the keyboard. We have a crazy amount of loops here, and I've already looked up shakers. So you can just search for what you need. So we'll search for shaker again. And we're going to go ahead and create an audio track. And what I like about an audio track is that even if we are using a drummer file, it will convert it to audio automatically. So we can listen to some shakers here. But even cooler is we can actually listen to them in the context of the mix. So let's go back to this verse here. And if I click on this one, it'll play it. And so I can find one that energy-wise is fitting what I'm going for. There's a bunch of different ones. And so I like that first 16th note. That's very, very similar to the one I have in here. I can drop it down here. It's just going to drop it as an audio file. So now if we listen to that, very similar. So we can just mix it into a similar volume. Cool, right? Okay, and then we can do the same kind of thing with a tambourine, right? So if we want to find a tambourine hit, we can just go through and find, listen through them, see if there's anything that's similar. In this song, we're doing these single tambourine hits, so let's try to mimic that. Let's see, I think way down here at the bottom. So I like this one because I could actually chop it. So I can drop this loop in, and it has multiple hits, but what I can do is I can just go in and Command T and cut anything except that one hit. And then I can just drop it, copy and paste it every time I hit that snare, or every time I have the other tambourine. So in this case, you'd want to figure out where you want it to be. And now we've recreated that part with this percussion, and then, do a similar thing, go on here, throw a long reverb on here, make it really long, and listen to that. right? And now we have a very similar tambourine. So you could do this inside your song with exactly what you have. And I think one of my favorite things is being able to listen to it in the context of the mix. So as we're going through these loops, I can literally listen through. Do I like the tone of this one? Maybe like this one better. Yeah, like I think this one sounds better to my ears. So you can find the right tone of the tambourine, drag it in, chop it up. You can make it exactly the parts you want it to be. It's so flexible. It's completely free. You can do this inside GarageBand. Again, I like to think of it as I'm approaching the end of a mix because I'll know where the pockets are that I want to add energy or kind of take away energy, and this will help me do that. Super, super easy, super fast, super simple. How many times did I just say super? So check this out. Try it out in your mix. Let me know how it goes in the comments below. But before we go, I want to give you something to help even more than just adding energy into your mix, and that is actually mixing your song to sound as good as possible. If you don't already have it, I've put together a 6-step checklist that just walks through all the 6 steps that all the professional mixes have and how you can do them inside GarageBand completely free. So you can go ahead and grab it from the link in the description below. It just walks through those 6 steps, helps you get a more professional sounding mix in GarageBand, completely free, no new gear, nothing else. So be sure to grab that. Before we go, I always like to finish with a question for you. And this week I want to know, do you use percussion in your song? Do you use it to help control the energy and move the energy throughout your mix? Let me know in the comments below. If this video was helpful, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next week with another video.
One thing at a time.